Welcome to part 2 of GameCube games I had when I was a teenager. If you missed part 1, be sure and watch that before part 2. Link to part 1 in the description down below. Now, if you did watch part 1, you know what to expect from this video. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Pool Paradise. I was so addicted to this pool game, and I got really good at it. And it's one of the best pool games I've ever played, if I'm being honest. It has some really deep mechanics to it, and it was very well designed with lots of unlockables, plenty of modes, you know, lots of AI computer players to play against. So if you like pool games, don't sleep on Pool Paradise. All 3 Prince of Persia games I owned, played, and beat all 3 games on the Nintendo GameCube. My favorite one was Prince of Persia Warrior Within. I really loved the dark atmosphere of the game. I thought the freaking fighting mechanics and combat was so much fun. The game was hard. Godsmack did the music, and the chase scenes where the I can't remember what the monster is called. Let's see if the back of the game mentions it. It doesn't look like it does, but there's a demon hunting the prince in this game. So when you're playing, sometimes you'll have chase sequences where the demon is chasing you, and it's so freaking intense. But Prince of Persia Warrior Within is definitely my favorite of the 3. Resident Evil 0. Now, I'll be honest, this is one that I didn't play very long because I found it to be pretty difficult and it scared the shit out of me. But one day I will revisit it and try to beat it. The Resident Evil Remake. When this game came out, it had the best graphics I've ever seen on the GameCube. As a matter of fact, even today, the graphics on this game are amazing. It's a very scary game, and I actually did play this one a lot, and I got pretty good at it. I got pretty far, but I never did beat it. I think I got to about the point where the hunters come out and start attacking you, and that's about the time that I was like, nope. But one day I may try to conquer it once and for all. Resident Evil 4. If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you know that Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've beat it 20 to 30 times. I'm basically a walking player's guide for it. But I'm not bragging or anything. And I think it's one of the greatest games ever made. And I 100% think it's the best Resident Evil game ever made. Rogue Ops. So this was a very unique and fun stealth game that a lot of people don't talk about. I never hear anybody talk about Rogue Ops. And it had a lot of unique ideas. Yes, the game had problems. It wasn't perfect, but I remember really enjoying it, especially using a lot of the gadgets. And yet again, it's a game I never did beat, so I certainly need to revisit it. Second Sight. This is another fantastic hidden gem game on the GameCube. There's 2 different ways to play the game, 2 different types of levels. There's straight up third-person shooter levels, and there's also more stealth-based levels where you use psychic abilities. The game had a great story. It had some of the most unique gameplay mechanics I had experienced at that time, and it's a game that I want to revisit for sure. Soul Calibur 2. This is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I'm not much of a fighting game person, but I was so addicted to Soul Calibur 2, especially because of the fact that you could play with Link. And also, Soul Calibur 2 is one of the most special games to me in my collection because of my memory with it, of coming home from work one night, well, leaving work one night, going to my brother's house, my brother that passed away, going to his house and playing this game with him until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had so much fun. So because of that, this game has a very special place in my heart. Spartan Total Warrior. I did an episode of GameCube Gallery on this if you want to check it out. Link in the description down below. Fantastic freaking action game. So epic. You fight literal armies in this game. It's a hidden gem. Nobody ever talks about it, and it deserves more attention than it gets. Spawn Armageddon. I don't have a lot of memories with this game. The only memory I really have with Spawn Armageddon is I remember I took my GameCube over to my cousin Nathan's house, who's been on the channel multiple times, and I remember setting my GameCube up in his brother Josh's room, and I was in there with my cousin Nathan, his brother Josh, and their dad, my Uncle Curtis, and I remember playing this game for the first time in front of them and playing through several levels of it, and I was enjoying what I was playing, but the game definitely got pretty challenging. But it seems like it's a pretty good Spawn game, maybe the best Spawn game ever made, and I will revisit it for sure one day. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, another hidden gem on the GameCube that nobody ever talks about. It's a very Zelda-like game, 3D Zelda-like game. You play as both Sphinx and the Mummy. When you play as Sphinx, you're in an open-world environment, exploring dungeons, killing enemies, solving puzzles. When you're the Mummy, it's just straight-up puzzle solving. Very unique puzzle solving. Fantastic game. and it was re-released and remastered on the Nintendo Switch. Spider-Man 1 and 2. I played and beat both of these games. Spider-Man 2 is definitely the much better game. The web slinging mechanic in that game was the best web slinging we had ever gotten in a Spider-Man game to date. And both of these games are still fun to play even today. The combat's a lot of fun. The open city is a lot of fun to explore, and they're just great games. Spongebob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Fantastic 3D platformer. Probably the best SpongeBob game ever made. I did an episode of GameCube Gallery on SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, so be sure and check that out in the description down below. And it also has a complete remake that you can play on, I'm pretty sure, all consoles. Such a great game. If you're a SpongeBob fan or a fan of good 3D platformers, I recommend checking it out. Star Fox Adventures. A lot of people seem to not like this game, and I don't know why, because it is a great game, and the graphics were really impressive, and they still look good, especially with progressive scan turned on and upscaled to HD. But it's basically a Star Fox game that it plays like a 3D Zelda game, and it's really good. Star Fox Assault. Now this was the true regular traditional Star Fox game, if you will, that was released on the GameCube, and it is a lot of fun, and it introduced ground-based combat, and it had a very fun multiplayer split screen mode. I really enjoyed Star Fox Assault. A lot of people, you know, I don't think anybody thinks it's the best Star Fox game, but it's the Star Fox game I played the most, I can tell you that much. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. This is an amazing first-person / third-person Star Wars game. Very hard game. Unless you play it on easy, then it's not that bad. But even on easy, it can be hard. And I never did beat it. I think back in those days, this game was a little bit too hard for me. But it's definitely one I want to revisit, especially considering I have the HD remaster on the Nintendo Switch. Super Mario Sunshine. Not my favorite 3D Mario game of all time, but I freaking love Super Mario Sunshine. And I remember when I got it, I was blown away. I had a blast, and I obsessively played it until I 100%ed the game. Love Super Mario Sunshine. I don't understand the hate that it gets. Super Smash Bros. Melee. This is probably the game I was addicted to the most on the GameCube. It's probably the game besides Resident Evil 4 that I put the most time into. I've probably put 100 or more hours into this game, and I was really good at it. I was trying to unlock literally everything in the game, and I think I got close. But it is, besides Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Switch, I think this is the second best Smash Bros. Game ever made. Tales of Symphonia. One of my favorite RPG games ever made, along with Paper Mario. The freaking story is so good. The gameplay was so fast and frantic and action-packed. This was an RPG game that wasn't a turn-based RPG game. It was very fast, very chaotic, combo-based. This game is super long, super epic, and has a lot of great characters and a fantastic story. Highly recommended. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't have a lot of great memories with this game, but I do remember somewhat enjoying it. But again, I don't have a lot of memories with it, but it's a Ninja Turtles game, so I love it. Tetris Swirls. Again, I don't have a lot of memories with this one. I do remember playing Tetris quite a bit on this game, but I don't have a lot of memories to share about it. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. This is, without a doubt, the best Hulk game ever made, in my opinion. I haven't seen anything better than it. This game truly makes you feel like the Hulk. It's an open world game. You can destroy practically everything. You can freaking leap like the height of a skyscraper. You can run up the side of buildings. The amount of fun stuff you can do in this game is just unreal. The combat's great. All the different moves you can pull off is just insane. Such a fun freaking game. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Now, of the two, I actually did beat both games back in the day, but of the two, I definitely like Return of the King more, and the reason is because you could play it with up to 2 players cooperatively, which made the game even better. But regardless, they're both fantastic games, especially if you like The Lord of the Rings. The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. I don't remember how I got this when I was younger, but I do remember really enjoying it because it came with 4 Zelda games on it that I loved. Well, 3 Zelda games that I loved. I'm not a big fan of Majora's Mask. Sorry, people. I remember playing the hell out of all these games. I think I replayed Ocarina of Time on this and just had a blast with it. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time plus Master Quest. Now, yet again, and this was a pre-order bonus for the Wind Waker. Now, yet again, I remember playing through and beating Ocarina of Time again on this, and attempting to play the Master Quest and failing miserably. I couldn't even beat the first dungeon. But one day, I'm going to tackle the Master Quest. One day. Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker and Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. Two of the best games on the GameCube. Two of my favorite games of all time, and two of the best 3D Zelda games. Just fantastic. A lot of people like to shit on the Wind Waker. I don't know why. It's a fantastic game. The graphics still hold up today. This game is fantastic. Let me know in the comments down below which one you think is better. I'm curious. I think I like Twilight Princess a little bit better than the Wind Waker, simply because I liked the darker tone and the more epic feel of Twilight Princess. But let me know in the comments down below which one you think is better. The Simpsons Hit and Run. I loved The Simpsons, and this was probably, in my opinion, the best Simpsons game ever made, because it was a 3D open world Simpsons game that played like Grand Theft Auto. And it was so much fun being able to explore Springfield and meet all the characters and just be in all kinds of crazy situations. This game was a blast. Time Splitters 2. Holy hell do I love this game. I was horribly addicted to it. I remember playing the single player mode, trying to beat it on every single difficulty. I remember playing the arcade mode, trying to freaking get the platinum medal or whatever on each level. I remember playing this game split screen with friends, and one of my favorite memories is I was over at my friend's house. He was my next door neighbor, and we spent hours and hours playing the freaking snake game that you can unlock in this game, because you could play the snake game with up to 4 people at once, and it was just stupid fun. All 4 Splinter Cell games. I was a huge fan of the Splinter Cell series. I loved stealth games, and the Splinter Cell games were some of the best stealth games I had ever played at that time. And I played and beat all 4 of these games. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to play through the 2-player co-op Splinter Cell games on Chaos Theory, or I'm sorry, Double Agent and Pandora Tomorrow. But one day, I'm going to sit down with somebody and play through those 2. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I don't have very many memories with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I have more memories with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 than any of the Tony Hawk games. But I do remember owning this and playing it a lot and having a lot of fun with it. But for some reason, it's just, I'm not remembering it in a lot of detail. True Crime Streets of LA and True Crime Streets of New York. I had both games. I remember True Crime Streets of LA the most, and I think that's the one that I played the most. I remember exploring the city and being amazed that there was a game on the GameCube like Grand Theft Auto, and it was a lot of fun. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. This is a game I have a lot of memories with. It was a really fun 3D platformer on the GameCube, and one that I really don't hear very many people talk about. It was re-released on the Nintendo Switch and PC. I'm not sure if it hit any other consoles, but it was re-released in HD remastered, and I recommend playing it there. That's definitely the definitive version, but it's a really fun and unique 3D platformer. Beautiful Joe. I love this game. This game is such a blast to play. Hard as hell. It's one of those games where you have to get good at the game. It requires twitch reflexes, but when you do get good at it and start pulling off combos and stuff, it really makes you feel like a badass. Sadly, I never did beat the game, but I do plan on trying it again one day. Ultimate Spider-Man. I think out of the 3 Spider-Man games on the GameCube, I think I like Ultimate Spider-Man the best. It was a really fun game. I really loved the art style of it. It felt more like playing the comic or the cartoon instead of the other 2 games being based on the live action movies. And I remember it being extremely fun with some really fun combat too. And the final game is 13, or as some people just call it, XIII. What a great first-person shooter. Cel-shaded graphics. Feels like a comic book when you're playing it. The cutscenes play out like comic books sometimes, and there's a lot of levels in this game, and it's just so much fun. And there was a remake, but unfortunately, from what I understand, the remake is not that great. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are the GameCube games that I had as a teenager. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments down below if you had a GameCube when you were a kid or a teenager, and if so, what games do you remember owning and playing when you were younger? Let me know all that in the comments down below. And as always, folks, be safe out there, keep playing games and having a good time, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're freaking awesome. And if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, share it with your friends and family. Check out all the social media links in the description down below. And if you want to see more RetroWolf88 videos, here's a couple more for you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play some more video games. Later.